SLR parsing, the basic bottom-up parsing technique which works on the concept of shift-reduce parsing is going to be discussed in this session. Let me take you to the process first and then with a detailed example. Will be given with a grammar that represents the structure of all the syntactic statements that are permitted in a programming language. Using that grammar, a parsing table will be constructed according to the parser that we use. In our case now it is simple LR parsing, but according to whatever parser we use, be it your top down or bottom up, the parsing table will be constructed. Now using that parsing table, we will be trying to check whether the given word, which is nothing but the part of the programming language statement that we write, will be accepted or rejected by the translator or not. And this process is what we call as parsing. So moving on to the detailed description of how this parsing will take place. So the first step would be to construct an augmented grammar. The reason being, we know there will always be a start symbol for every grammar. Let's say it is yes. So the language that a particular grammar represents will be the set of all words that you can derive from this particular start symbol. And you assume this to be a process that is running in a system. We always in need of some parent process to initiate this. So for example, a Microsoft Word application, which is a process, needs to be initiated by operating system. Let's say you write a program a.c which gets converted to a.obj, has to get executed by the operating system. And hence, even if your grammar has a start symbol, someone should start initiating this start symbol to generate words that are part of that language. That's where the necessity of augmented grammar comes in, where we will be introducing a production called S dash gives yes, where S is the actual start symbol and S dash is the augmented symbol which represents the parent process. Once done this, the second is to compute canonical collection of LR of 0 items. So LR of 0, which means already we have seen in our previous session videos that the first L stands for left to right scanning of input, and the second right stands for rightmost derivation. The 0 stands for no look ahead symbols, meaning that whatever is currently under the input pointer will be maintained here. The parser will not look at what is coming next on your input stream. That's the representation of LR of 0. Once done that, once having understood this, how to construct this is through two important functions, closure and goto. Closure represents the set of all productions or the items that you can use from a particular point, and goto represents the fact of deriving a particular symbol and its corresponding state transition. That will be dealt clearly in the subsequent steps. Once this canonical collection of LR of 0 items is constructed, we move on to construct the parsing table. In this case, it is simple LR parsing table. Once it is done, we will move on to do parsing, where we will be trying to check or trying to give an input, which is a statement in C, which we write as part of our program to check whether it adheres to the pattern of or the syntactic structure of C language or not. Let us take through this process with an example. I am going to assume this grammar as an example having 4 productions, 2 terminal symbols and 2 non-terminals and 4 terminal symbols. How to write the augmented grammar now? Yes, if S is the start symbol, just we have to introduce one more start symbol called S dash, which should derive S. The rest of the production will remain as it is, and this is what we call it as augmented grammar, and we will name it as G dash. That's all. So now it's pretty simple construction of augmented grammar. Moving on, having this with us as the augmented grammar, we need to understand what an item is, what's a closure and what's a goto. With that, we'll be constructing LR of 0 items. A production with a dot in some position is what we call as an item. For example, if I take S gives within bracket L, I could place the dot over here, or the same production if I take, I could place a dot here, or I could place it here, or I could place it here. So what's the meaning of dot? Okay, so this dot represents the fact of how much we have seen in the input till now and how much is expected more. So let's say if you take this particular item, it represents, dot is here, the portion before this represents the fact that in your input stream you have seen this left bracket, and in your that is in your input stream you are expected to see capital L, which will again be derived into so many different terminals, and a right symbol. So you can, at any point of time, you can divide the item into two parts of what have been seen currently on the input and what is expected to come on the input stream. So that's what item means. So item refers to a production with a dot in some place. Coming to closure. This closure represents the set of all items that will be part of a particular state. Let's say if I am going to start deriving S dash gives yes, right? So from where I have to place the dot is from here, because I am going to start deriving now and no inputs. I haven't checked any input till now in the input buffer. So what is the possible way of deriving this when I give S dash gives yes? So what could be expanded from S? Yes, we do have two productions. S gives within bracket L, S gives A. So these are the two options which you can substitute here. Again, if I use this first alternate, so it will look like this. So what will be the first symbol? That's where is the next expectation. So I'll be putting a dot here. Even if you use another alternate, so instead of 3, if you use like this, S dash gives yes, and if it gives A. So this is where I'll be looking at. So A is what is the next input that I'll expect on the input stream. So this is what we call as the closure. So what's a closure? When there is a dot followed by a non-terminal, include its production with a dot on the left hand side. Again, in the added productions, if you happen to have a non-terminal after a dot, its productions also has to be written. So that's what is the meaning of closure. Having known these two, we will move on to compute goto. With that, we will be constructing canonical collection of LR of 0 items. So I'll just write one item set and then we'll check the goto statement. Just I'm writing the set of statements. So what is goto? Goto of, if suppose I represent this some x ix, okay, from this state, this is a state. What are the symbols you are expecting? One is capital L, another one is small a, okay, because dot, the symbol that is after the dot is expected to be on the input. So if it is a non-terminal, you know it will be expanded, that's not a problem. So ix comma capital L is equal to, see actually this needs to be written with the closure. I am just taking an example and show you. Complete evaluation we will be looking at in the next slide. So when I complete expanding this L, where should this dot move? It should move on to the next position. So it will be looking like S gives left bracket L. This L we have expanded, that's the meaning of goto. Move the dot to the next position, use close bracket. Okay, and in no other items we have dot followed by L. So and you can stop with this and you can name it like some other IY. Similarly, goto of ix comma, you can see is A. A dot is there, and this particular state you can expect an A. So A will be there. So it will be like S gives A dot. Okay, and I will give IZ. So this is how you need to write goto. But there is one more tricky part you need to understand. Suppose that you have S gives dot L, or let us assume like this, S gives left bracket L this, and S gives dot A as your IX. Okay. Now what to do when I write go to of ix comma l, it is equal to, we have to move this dot to the next position. Okay, so it will come like s gives left bracket dot l close bracket. So when dot is followed by a non-terminal, what does it mean? It's about for expansion. So how to expand? You will be expanding using else production. L gives l comma s and l gives s. So from where will you start expanding again? Again from the leftmost symbol. So I have to place a dot like this. So this is what is the go to, and you have to include closure if at all after applying the go to there exists a non-terminal after a dot. Fine. So we'll look into that very keenly in the upcoming slides. Now let's move on for construction of LR of 0 items. Always we need to start with closure of s dash gives dot s, which is the added augmented grammar, because this is from where we are going to start. Now we have to include that first, s dash gives dot s. Then since dot is followed by a non-terminal, you have to include s production. So s gives within bracket l, s gives dot a. Okay, these two are added since dot is followed by a non-terminal. Okay. Now after having added, you have a look at whether dot is followed by a non-terminal. If so, you have to add that production also. Here in this case dot is followed by a terminal. You should not worry about second or third. It is only always the next successor. So I'll name it as I naught. So this is the closure of from where we will start. Once done, you have to apply go to from I naught on all the symbols whichever is possible. How to check? Just find whatever be the symbol of the number of symbols that are following this dot. One is yes, next is left bracket and next is a. So first you apply yes. So when from I naught, when you complete expanding s, what to do? You have to move this dot to the next position. So you will get s dash gives s dot. Okay. So even if you have one more production with the dot followed by s, that also you should include. So it's not there in this case, so you can stop and you name it as I1. Okay. Now go to of I naught comma, the next symbol is left bracket. Okay. So what to do? We have to move the dot to the next position. It represents the fact that we have seen left bracket on the input. So it will come like this. Now after having added this go to, we saw that dot followed by L, which is a non-terminal. So we have to include L's production. Just listen carefully. We have included L's production. Okay. Once having added, we could see that dot is followed by S again, which is a non-terminal. So you have to add S production also. This we have to keenly observe. So as and when you have a non-terminal followed after a dot, you have to add its closure also. Once done this, just check whether it is equivalent to either I naught or I1. Both are different and you can give a new name called I2. Then go to of I naught comma, what is the next symbol? It is A. Okay, so it will be like S gives A dot. That is the only thing. So you can give a new name like I3. So once done that, you look at I1. Is there any possibility for applying go to? No, because after dot we don't have any symbol, and hence go to of I1 comma any symbol, X represents any symbol, will be equal to null. Now we will move on. So I'll write I2 once for you. It is S gives left bracket dot L and L gives dot S, and hence we have included S production. So this becomes I2. Now we have to apply go to from I2 on all the possible symbols. The first possible symbol is capital L. You check whether dot is followed by S. Let us go in order. Yes, it is there. So this dot needs to be moved to the next position. So it will be like L gives S dot. You just check whether it is similar to any of I0, I1, I2, I3. Nothing matches and hence this becomes I4. And then go to of I2, comma, the next non-terminal which is L. You could see dot is followed by L in two different positions. So you have to add both the things. So after moving here, it will go like that, and after moving here, L dot, comma, S. So those here dot is followed by terminal in both the cases, and hence this will be the next item which is I5. Once done, go to of I2, comma, left bracket. Right? So move this. S gives left bracket dot L. Since dot is followed by L, L gives dot L, comma, S. L gives dot S. Since dot is followed by non-terminal, S gives dot L. S gives dot A. You can see this is very similar to I2. So I can use the same state I2. Then go to of I2, comma, small a. So it is S gives A dot. Again it is similar to, you can see here it is similar to state I3 where there is only one item. Item means not only the production, the position of dot also you have to map. Now what is left out? We completed L. Here also L is there, here S is there, here left bracket is there, here A is there. All the things we have completed, and we will move on for applying go to from the next thing. So I3, I2 we have completed. I3 it is having only one item and it will be hyphen. Then go to of I4, comma, X. Any symbol if you apply, again it will also be hyphen. So we have to move on to I5. So this is I5. Go to of I5, comma, left closing bracket. So we can move this to the next position, showing the completion of that particular production. So this is not get mapped to anything else. So it is the last item we have used, it is I5. So we can give a new name called I6. Okay, and go to of I5, comma, what is the next symbol? It is comma. Okay, so just move it to the next one. L gives L, comma, dot S. Now dot is followed by a non-terminal, and hence S production is what you have to use. S gives dot L, S gives A. Okay, this is completely new. I don't think it is available anywhere. You can also check once, and hence this is I7. And I5 we have completed, and go to of I6, any symbol will be equal to hyphen because it has only one item with dot in its last position. Now go to of I7, comma, what is the first one? It is dot. Okay. Yes, sorry, what is the first symbol? It is yes. So we will start with yes because dot is followed by three symbols. So it will be like L gives L, comma, yes dot. Again this is new, you can give I8. Go to of I7, comma, left bracket. Okay, so you just move it, and then yes gives left bracket, sorry, here closing bracket. Since dot is followed by L, L gives dot L, comma, S. L gives dot S. Since dot is followed by S, you have to include S production also. So all the things, if you look at, it is very similar to I2, and hence we can use the same name like I2. And finally go to of I7, comma, A. Okay, So it will give us S gives A dot, which is equivalent to I3. So finally go to I8. Okay, since it has only one item with dot in its last, any symbol if you put it will be hyphen. So all items we have completed now. Just we have to move on drawing the automation model representing this flow. Okay, so let us just have a quick look at from I0, which is the initial state. On applying S, you can move on to 1. Left bracket will give you 2, A will give you 3. So we'll first draw those 3. We will have I0, which is the start state because it has S dash gives dot S. Then on the application of capital S, you can move on to I1. Then if you apply left bracket, you can move on to I2. And if you apply A, you can move on to I3. Then from I1, is there any transition? No. Okay, you can see here from I1 on any symbol, we don't have any transition. So from I2, if you take on S, you can move on to I4. On L, you can move on to I5. And then left bracket to I2, A to I3. There are 4 transitions, all that we have to draw. So from I2 on S, you have the transition to I4. On L, you have the transition to I5. From I2, you can see here on left bracket it is to I2. Source and destination states are same. So it is just a self loop. This is left bracket. And on the application of A, it is to I3. Okay, so till that it is done. Then I3, no transition. I4, no transition. Then coming to I5. From I5 on close bracket, it is to I6, comma, it is to I7. So from I5 on close bracket, it is to I6 and comma, it is to I7. So finally from I6 and I7, no transition. Sorry, I6 no transition. From I7 on capital S, it is to I8. So you can draw here, it is on capital 8, yes, it is to I8. So from I7 again on left bracket, it is to I2 and on A, it is to I3. So from I7, from left bracket, it is to I2. Okay, so this is the left bracket, then this is on A. So that's all, it's done. Now what is the final state? So when do you complete evaluation? See, here we started with that, and the languages represent all the derivations that you do from S. Once it is done, this dot will be moved on to the next position. So whichever state is having S dash gives S dot will be the final state represented by this automation mode. After computing LR of 0 items, the next stage is to construct parsing table. In this case, this is SLR parsing table. So the structure goes like this. We will have items on the row. How many items we do have? It is from I0 to I8, which is 9 items. And if you see the type of columns that you have, we actually have 2 different varieties. One is the action entries and another one is the go to entries. Actually, the action entries are nothing but the actions that you have to take when a terminal symbol appears on your input. So all the terminal symbols of the grammar has to be included along with dollar. So this dollar is also part of action entries. So left bracket, right bracket, A, comma, and then dollar. This go to are nothing but state transitions. So when I am in I0, when something off the top of the stack gets reduced to S, where is the state transition? That is given by here. We know that it is a part of shift reduce parsing, and hence there are 2 basic operations which we need to understand. The first one being shift and the second one being reduce, and we have to tell the system when to accept. That is the third action, and fourth is all the left out entries or error entries. Those are the things that we are going to fill here. Now first let us start with shift. So from I0, you take one state. apply these terminal symbol. If there is a transition, shift that symbol onto the stack, move to the state. See, it's very simple. From I0, you check whether there are entries on left bracket, right bracket, A, comma, and then dollar. Yes, we do have entries on left bracket and A. What is the state? I2 and I3. And there you go and write S3. Shift and move to state 2, not 3, 2, because it is to 2. Then here it is S3. Shift and move to state 3. Right? Now from I1 we don't have any outgoing edge. From I3, I2, yes, there is a transition on left bracket to its same state. So it will be S2. And from I2, the next outgoing edge is on A. So hence it is S3. Okay. Now from I3, if you see any transitions are there, no outgoing edge, only incoming edges. Then from I4, no outgoing edge. From I5, yes, there are two outgoing edge. One is on closing bracket, another one is on comma. So I5 on closing bracket, it is S6. Shift and move to state 6. I5 on comma, it is to S7. Okay, shift and move to state 7. Then you look at I6, no outgoing transition. From I7, yes, we do have. What are all they? On left bracket, again it is to S2. On small a, it is to S3. Now we have completed entering shift entries. Hope the concept is clear. From every state, you try to check where you can move on the terminal symbols. Now come to non-terminal. Okay, that's where the go-to entries needs to be filled. From I0 on capital S. What is the destination? It is to state 1. It is not shift. You keep in mind, after reducing the top of the stack using a production, what is the state change the system should make? That is given here. Then from I0 on S, only one transition. From I1, not outgoing edge. From I2, we have transition on S to state 4 and then on L to state 5. From I3, no outgoing edge. I4, no. Then from I5, only there are outgoing edges on terminal symbols. So no problem. I6 also don't have. From I7 on capital S, you can move on to state 8. So that's how the go to entries needs to be filled. Once done with the filling up shift and go to, we'll move on to reduce. So to fill up the reduce entries, first we have to identify follow of all the non-terminals. So let's do that first. This is the given grammar. L, S gives A and L gives L comma S and L gives S. So this is the given grammar. So to compute follow, we need first. So I'll compute first of S, which is equal to, since S has two productions and both start with the terminal, first of S will be open bracket and A. And what is first of L? L starts with L itself and S. Okay, actually the proper procedure is to remove this left recursion and to start working with the grammar. Since we have started like this, let's proceed. So now it includes first of L and first of S. So since first of S is what we have already computed, it will be left bracket and A. Right? Now coming to computation of follow of S will obviously include dollar because it is the start symbol. So just check where and all you have S on the right hand side. It appears in two places, right? So in both the cases we don't have any symbol after that, which is assumed to be epsilon, and hence move to the left, add its follow. So its parents follow has to be added. So we have to add follow of L. So coming to computation of follow of L. So in L is followed by terminal symbol in two places. One is close bracket, another one is comma. So both we have to add. We don't have any other L over here, and hence follow of S will have dollar, close bracket and comma. Hope computation of first and follow is clear. Otherwise there is a special video on that. Go back, do that. Now once done this, let's move on to fill up the reduce entries. For doing that, first we have to identify the items where you have the productions of this kind. Okay, so What is that? A dot in the rightmost position. The meaning being, when you see this on the stack, okay, so you can reduce it to A. That's what is the meaning of having a dot in the rightmost position. All the inputs are being seen in your input buffer, and hence the X could be reduced to A. So let's have a look at here. Yes. So you identify, actually this is a special symbol which is an accepting state, so you can stop, don't worry about this. I3 is having S gives A dot, okay, so that's the first thing we need to identify. Then you have in I4 L gives S dot, right? Then you have again I3 remains same. Till now we have in I3 and then I5, right? I3 and I4. Now comes I6, which is having S gives L dot, and in I8 we do have this. So with that we will move on for having this item. So the first, let us write the grammar first. S gives L is 1, S gives A is second, L gives L comma S is third, and L gives S. So if your computation of LR of 0 items is proper, you should have at least one item having dot in its right position. So where is it being found? We found this thing in I3, okay, and this we saw in I4, okay, and this is actually in I8, and this is in I6, okay. So we can go back and just check it once before proceeding. You can see I6 is having S gives this one, and this I8 is having another thing, okay. So let me name these rules or the productions by one number. This is rule 1, rule 2, rule 3, rule 4. Okay. So just for convenience, otherwise you have to write S gives within bracket L in every cell, which will be clumsome. So that's, in order to avoid that, we give rule numbers. That's it. So just I'll tell you how to fill up the reduce entries now. We take the first item. Just check the symbol that is preceding this dot. If it is a terminal, this is in actually in I6, right? In I6 comma, if this is a terminal, the symbol which is preceding this particular thing is a terminal, go to the left and for follow of S, you have to add reduce by rule 1. Okay, so I6 comma, what is in follow of S? We have computed here, it is dollar close bracket comma. Okay, there and all you have to add reduce by rule 1. So now I'll tell you one more thing. So L gives L comma S dot. Now just check what is the symbol that is preceding this dot. Since it is a non-terminal, it has its follow. So this is found in I8. So in I8 comma follow of this non-terminal, which is your preceding symbol, you have to add reduce by rule number 3. This is rule number 3. Okay. So what is the procedure now? Just we need to check what is the symbol that is preceding the dot. If it is a terminal, you have to go back to the left and you have to add its follow. Here, if it is a non-terminal, just you have to add directly its follow. That's the meaning of adding reduce entries. With this, I'll first add this one. Okay, in I6 comma, in all the follow of S, we have to add this. So I6 follow of S is this. So you have to add reduce by rule 1, reduce by rule 1 and reduce by rule 1. Okay. So now comes rule 2, S gives A dot. Okay. Dot is preceded by a terminal. So go back and then use its follow. Okay. So I3 comma follow of S we have to add R2. So I3 comma follow of S we have to add rule number 2. Okay. So now comes third rule. It is in I8. So I8 comma follow of S because it is a non-terminal directly. So that is R3. So I8 comma here it is R3. Similarly, we have S gives A dot, sorry, L gives S dot in I4 comma follow of S, we have to add rule number 4. I4 comma follow of S, we have to add rule number 4. Fine. So that's how we have to add reduce entries. It may be appearing to be confusing, but it's very quite easier method of doing that. Just which follow you have to find. That's the more important thing. When dot is preceded by terminal symbol, go to the left, use its follow, because follows are only for non-terminal, not for terminal. Here, when dot is preceded by a terminal, non-terminal, directly use its follow. So that's the meaning of filling up the reduce entries. Moving on to the third one, accept. So accept, actually we already have seen that I1 is the accepting state. So what's expected next is the delimiter, which is dollar. So I1 comma dollar, you have to add accept. Okay, and in all other places it's all error. If you end here, you can write it as E1, E2 and so on till this point. So that's how the entries has to be filled. With then this entry, we have to move on for construction of SLR parsing table and to check whether the given word is accepted or rejected. With this parsing table constructed using shift go to reduce accept entries, we'll move on to check whether the given word is accepted or not. Just the stack starts with the first item because it is the start state 0. The input buffer will have left bracket A comma A, which is the word I am going to check, followed by the delimiter dollar. Just it's a pretty easier technique. This we need to check on the row, and the symbol that is pointed to by input buffer, we know it is left to right scanning of input, so we have to start with left bracket 0 comma left bracket. See, look into the entry, height 0 on this, it is actually S2. So it is shift and move to state 2. So I am shifting that symbol onto the stack, moving to state 2. Keep in mind that both the input symbol as well as the state has to be shifted. Always on top of the stack you should have the state, then only you can look at the entry here. So the input buffer will now have A comma A followed by close bracket dollar. Now 2 comma A. What is 2 comma A? It is S3. Shift and go to state number 3. So I am shifting A, moving to state number 3. This is comma A close bracket dollar. Then 3 comma state 3 comma operator. So state 3, what is the comma operator? It is reduced by rule 2. So reduced by rule 2. What is rule 2? It is S gives A. Now the formula is how many ever number of symbols are there in the right hand side, 2 into that many number of symbols you have to pop out. But the logical idea you can understand very well. When pushing, we are not only pushing the symbol along with the state. So you have to pop out the pair. Okay. So we have to pop out A, push in S. So pop out these two, push S. So 0, left bracket 2. This S will come to the stack. Okay. Now we are in need of one state here for us to properly move ahead. So how to identify? Just from 2, what is the state on go to? Okay. So on S, that's you have to found. Go to I2. Okay. So you have S as the non-terminal. What is the go to that represents? That is the state you have to move on. So from 2, state item 2 on yes. What is the state transition? It is 4 that you have to write. This is the more careful step. Then comma A close bracket dollar. Now 4 comma. Okay, so I4 comma. What is that? It is rule 4. What is rule 4? It is L gives yes. Fine. Now again you have only one symbol on the right. So you have to pop out 2. So it will be left out with 0, left bracket 2. And then the left hand side symbol you have to push in onto the stack. 2 comma L. If you see, it is to state number 5. 2 comma L, it is to state number 5. So the rest of the things will be comma A close bracket dollar. Now 5 comma comma. So from I5 on this comma, it is S7. Okay. It is a shift operation. So remaining thing will leave in the stack as it is. you have to shift it in a comma, okay, and then you have to move on to 7, and what is left out is a, and now what is 7 comma a? Yeah, it is S3. Shift and move to state 3, okay. So left bracket 2 L 5 comma 7 a, and then finally you have to move to state number 3, which is close bracket dollar. So 3 comma close bracket, 3 comma close bracket, already we saw it is rule number reduced by rule number 2. So rule number 2 is S gives A. So what to do? You have to pop out two symbols and then you have to push in S onto the stack. So you will have 0 left bracket 2 L5 comma 7. So with that we have to write here. So the stack will have 0 left bracket 2 L5 comma 7. I hope this is correct. Yes. With this you have to push in S onto the stack. Then what is 7 comma S? You could see it is 8. And what's left out on the stack is close bracket and then dollar. Fine. Now what is 8 comma close bracket? You can see it is reduced by rule 3, which is L gives L comma S. So now you have 3 symbols on the right. So 6 symbols you have to pop out. The entire same structure you can see here, L comma S with the states in between. So you have to pop out all these things. So it is 0 left bracket 2. Here it is close bracket dollar. So 2 comma close bracket. Sorry, you have to push in L onto the stack. No, I forget that. Now 2 comma L. What is the state transition? It is to 5. Okay, so what I did, popped out 6 symbols, then pushed in that corresponding leftmost symbol, which is L. Now we want a state. So 2 comma L, go to, it is 5. So now 5 comma close bracket. 5 comma close bracket is S6. So it is S6. So 0 left bracket 2 L and then 5 close bracket, then state will be 6 and you will be left out with dollar. So what is $6? It is reduced by rule 1. So what is rule 1? It is S gives within bracket L. The same structure is there, you could see. Left bracket L close bracket. Okay. And all the 6 you have to delete. Push in S onto the stack. What is 0 comma S? It is 1. Okay. Then what is $1? Yes, it is accept. So that's the end of SLR parsing. It's a continuing procedure to start with the construction of augmented grammar followed by computation of LR of 0 item, which is nothing but I0 to I8 in this problem, using closure and goto functions. Third, you have to construct a parsing table like this, which will have 4 type of entries: action entries, goto entries, shift entries, except, and then rest of all we call it as error entry. One special thing that you need to notice here is, if in any case, if any of these corresponding cells end up with 2 entries, let's say if you have S2 and R2 written together, okay, so the system will get into a confusion of which active action has to be taken first. That case, we say the grammar cannot be parsed using SLR parser and hence to choose and go for rest of the parsing technique. Okay, so that's the important concept that people have to be aware of. Where we'll have a stack as a temporary storage area, we'll have an input buffer to store your input word and the action that needs to be taken.